Hey everybody, and welcome to Authors and Dragons, where a group of comedic fantasy writers get together and try to make it through a whole game of Pathfinder without accidentally dying. Let's see if we pull it off this week. As always, the odds do not look great.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John Hartness, and I am, most of these sessions, I'm playing the role of Fandingo the Fantastical, the semi-useless, but always amusing, I hope, bard. And tonight, I'm being much more me, which in real life, which I always find it funny that we say in real life that we do all these stupid things that we do. In real life, I write the Black Knight Chronicles, an urban fantasy series from Bellbridge Books, as well as several titles from my publishing company, Falstaff Books, including Modern Magic, a 12-book box set that's available now, featuring myself, Rick, and plenty of other people. So, that's me.
Hi, I'm Joseph Brassi. I was one of the authors on the Mongoliad project, and I've just finished a novel called Skyfarer. In this lovely podcast, I play the role of Bjorg Bjornsson, violent and human exploding barbarian. And, yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm Rick Gualtieri, and normally I play the role of Silas Kane, currently the possessed, dick-grabbing paladin of Toreg. But in real life, I do a lot less of that. Instead, I write. I write about it. So I write the Tome of Bill's comedy horror series, which includes books such as Bill the Vampire, The Morning Woods, and The Wicked Dead.
Hello, my name is Robert Bevan. I play the role of possessing spirit Klaus Richter, who makes people grab dicks. In real life, I write the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy, LIT, RPG novels and short stories, starting with the first book, Critical Failures.
Hello, my name is Robert Cruz, and I play the grumpy and unpleasant cleric, Kutharik the Lost, and in which is called The Big Sheep, and it's very near future.
Hi, my name's Steve Weverill. I play Brandon Firemaster, the mushroom-punching monk. In real life, I write the comedy fantasy series The Doomsayer Journeys, and I've just released Shoot the Dead, a comedy horror, on audio, so please check that out.
All right, and our DM Drew Hayes couldn't make it tonight. He's at Comic Palooza, so if you're around there, please stop in and see him. So rather than I guess us playing without him and automatically promoting ourselves to 20th level, we decided to do another interlude session.
Yeah.
So earlier today and throughout the week, the Facebook page is pretty active. We've been collecting questions from our awesome listeners and also our readers. So we figured we'd go through some of those and answer what we can.
Has Drew gone to Comic Con then?
It's Comic Palooza.
Comic Palooza. That's not what I
It's a Comic Con. It's not San Diego Comic Con.
I heard that somebody had called out the Authors and Dragons podcast and he'd gone to face them in single combat, as is always.
Yeah, always. I just, our blades are wetted.
Yes. just for the record, Robert Bevan is in charge of any eulogies since his books can bring the dead back.
Yeah. That's right.
Just for the record, I am not on the list of people who are facing people in single combat.
We're
Or
all
at least
on
I'm
this,
way
man.
down on the list.
I'm pretty sure there's only one of us on this group right now who's qualified to do that.
Yeah, Bjorg handles all of it.
Bjork slash.
Yeah.
You're just slash.
Joe, but yeah, Bjorg slash.
Bjorg slash Joe, a.k.a. Jorg. I think that's actually a Mark Lawrence character. I wouldn't want to infringe on his copyrights.
Wait, did you say that's a Martin Lawrence character?
No, Mark Lawrence. Mark Lawrence is very different.
Mark Lawrence has not been in any movies with Will Smith.
No.
Okay.
I don't think he's gone crazy and run naked through the streets either.
I bet that's a lot more likely, though. Writers and shit.
All right, shall we jump into some questions?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So, first one's really not a question. So this first question comes from Corey, and he says he's new to RPG tabletop games and wants to know what we would suggest as a good starting game. He says we're all playing Pathfinder and everyone knows D&D, so he's just looking for some suggestions from the group.
Let's see.
Jesus, how many times do I have to say Hero Quest? Am I the only guy banging this drum?
The best thing about Hero Quest.
Yep. Only one.
Yeah, well, screw you guys. It's great.
I know, this is fantastic.
I found 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons to be pretty user friendly for beginners.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't played it, but I spend a lot of time in a game store playing Magic the Gathering, and everybody who comes in seems to like 5e.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it too.
I don't suggest Magic the Gathering because it's horribly addictive and ridiculously expensive and will consume your life and your soul and all of your money.
Well, if you don't have money, Pathfinder's not a bad one because you can get all the stuff online pretty much for free.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you have money, play 5th edition. If you're broke or cheap, do Pathfinder.
Or play Pathfinder and then decide if you like it enough to spend money and then spend money. Or buy our shit and play Pathfinder.
Yeah, play Pathfinder and buy our books, man.
Yeah.
I'll echo the stuff about 5e. Pathfinder is also really good, and there are so many board games, like things like Hero Quest and such, out there.
One good way for people to find new games and things is to go to some of these science fiction and fantasy conventions. There are always game rooms and gaming tracks, and a lot of times game designers and manufacturers will be there demoing new games and demoing games for new players. So if there's something that you wanted to try, you could go to something like Dragon Con and spend 4 days doing nothing but trying out different games and not eating, sleeping, or bathing. And that's why we don't go to the game room on day 4 of Dragon Con.
I think that anybody who's worried about starting off in it, I think if you've listened to this podcast all the way through, you know everything you need to know about a tape. Yeah, basically you're an expert by now on everything.
A black belt.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish we were, since every week it's kind of like, okay, where do I find this? Where do I find skills?
How do I show that I'm moving my guy again?
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, basically if you tune in and you think, wow, those guys really don't sound like they know what they're doing, then you're ready for the world of tabletop gaming.
But someone didn't do their job editing.
Yeah, I don't think we're intimidating anybody with our expertise.
Yeah, I think, what is it, Steve? Between you and me, we have a combined 27 minutes of game experience before we started this podcast.
Pretty much. We're definitely just winging it.
I gamed in college, but that was longer ago than I care to admit in public.
That's another good point with regard to the question that was asked. I mean, if you are a novice and you get in with a group of, friendly people that are willing to hold your hand a little ways, you really don't have to know much going in for any system.
Oh. On the other hand, if you meet a group of assholes, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you won't get into role-playing games for too long. All right.
Welcome to the hobby. We're all pricks.
You've never tried Linux programming. That's pretty much how it is.
Reason for that.
I just thought, what are we calling this section? Because we could call it Authors and Anecdotes. How's that?
Anecdotes.
I just came up with that right now.
That sounds so very ridiculously pretentious and awesome.
Yes. That's what I'm good at.
All right, well, we'll continue along with Masterpiece Theater here.
I'm leaving that.
Aaron asks, what are the best or worst character names you've come across while playing games?
Oh God, I know this. I got to lead on this. So this one wasn't mine. This is one I've heard of. It was a guy running a superhero game, and this was kind of like a play-by-post online thing, so he was taking like submissions and character ideas from just random other people on this forum, and he got some pretty good ones. Then he got this borderline nonsensical one that the character's name was the Invincible Hammer Wheel. His powers were he had hammers for hands and wheels for feet.
Oh. Descriptive. Was he invincible?
I don't know. I don't think he ever actually made it into the game, because I think the bare bones summary of this character was the Invincible Hammer Wheel. He has hammers for hands and wheels for feet. He was born that way. He lives in the woods. So I've always considered that a borderline. That one's so bad it borders on an art form.
Well, to be fair, it's pretty good for a character who has hammers for hands and wheels for feet.
Yes.
It's a compelling origin story.
The character is more of the problem.
That would be an interesting character trait, quadruple amputee.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if he just had, like, screwdrivers for hands or something, it'd be a shit name. But as it stands...
God damn it, I expected the hammer wheel. What are on your... Not as advertised.
One of the first games I DM'd, I had this guy, and I just knew it was going to be one of those campaigns because he created a character called Lamont the Magnificent.
Oh.
And it was just like it was just like I don't know what's going to happen first. This character's going to die, or I'm going to kick you out of this game.
We had a game where there was we had a halfling who was named Trisket, like the cracker.
Sounds
And
like a hooker.
I think we fought for about an hour. I'm not sure we ever actually started playing because this name was so divisive that we just fought about it for like an hour whether it was a valid name for a halfling.
It's a great name for a halfling.
I know. That's kind of what I was like. Well, I can imagine that being an actual name of someone if you forget.
Seems perfectly valid to me.
Yeah.
I had a friend who had he had a demon summoner in some game who was a dwarf named Pickles.
Pickles.
I was playing with a group once that everyone named their characters with like cheese-related puns. Mine was Gorgonzola McTinkerton. I might have mentioned him before.
Trisket would have fit in really well with that group.
Yeah, he's just in the wrong group. He needed to be in the cheese and crackers orientated group.
The cheese group.
I don't really remember any of the characters we played in college because, well, we smoked a lot of weed when we played. A lot. So, I remember that my character was Ramaran, a rogue with poor impulse control, who is now the lead character in an epic fantasy that I'm writing.
Nice.
And or Klaus.
And or Klaus. And or like every interesting rogue ever.
Yeah, you can't have
If
a
I
rogue
played-
who's not a dick. That wouldn't be the same.
If I smoked weed, well, I think there would just be a lot of rolling in it, and then the game would never get initiative again.
You start getting paranoid. It's like, the dice are fixed, man. They're fixed. I'm telling you, man.
This
It was
is
a
like
bunch of stoned-ass theater majors. So there was really not very much rolling and a lot of role-playing going on. And then we just got really high and wandered around campus.
I can respect that.
Again, that goes back to the first question of somebody looking for, their first D&D experience. If you're just wandering around high, you've already done it. So.
All right. I'm going to grab one from my page because I think this one could be a fun one to answer. Not sure how to pronounce his name. It's either Legion or Legion. But he's asking basically if our characters are kind of like in Mortal Kombat, what would our fatality moves entail?
Oh boy.
Well,
Curl-
Catharics would have to be somehow diving inside of his opponent and destroying him from the inside. He likes.
I think Silas would be like a never-ending sermon where it just says 6 hours later, and the other character just kills himself.
Fandango would hit some amazing screeching high note and his opponent's brains would just blast out of their ears.
Klaus would shoot his grappling hook into a tree, and the enemies would be dead before he got a shot off.
I think this is actually something I'm working up to in the game. I want to get to the stage where I can roll to flex so hard that everybody just instantly gives up and cries.
Oh my god!
Flex blows people's heads off.
So like Bjorg, I mean, the obvious thing to do would be some sort of, brutal sword move, but I almost feel like with him, I would want it to be something like the old Mortal Kombat alternate finishers of friendship. Just kind of like, he beats the guy into a pulp and it's just, Bjorg wins. Flower arrangement.
Bjorg kills him with kindness.
Put her there, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. He gives him a big bear hug or handshake.
Yeah, I mean, you've pretty much all Bjorg's kills are Mortal Kombat finishes in some sense, so I suppose you'd have to do something different.
I'll field a question from my page. This comes from Joseph Sylvester. Is there any way you guys could possibly set up a donation page for Authors and Dragons? I'm sure a lot of us listeners wouldn't mind donating to Authors and Dragons, so you guys could get better equipment and whatnot. Like better fucking microphones, for one. Kind of passive aggressive, really, but
Is that an actual quote? Is that what they actually said?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that.
Microphones?
I don't want to buy a new microphone. I think mine's supposed to be well, there's an easy answer to that. I mean, yeah, buy shirts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, that's donations, that's advertising, and that's high
And they're
fashion.
friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Or buy books. Therefore there's no donation, there's no charity there. It's like, you get some. It's not like I don't really want money for nothing because that makes me feel self-conscious.
I'm good with money for nothing.
And
I'm also good with instructions attached to the money. Whatever.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is if we put up a fund for new microphones or something. Being honest here, which of us are going to actually spend it on microphones? We're going to be like, yeah, I got that new microphone. Spend it on beer.
Yeah, I'm sitting here drinking the new microphone right now.
Shit, I'm on like my third microphone since we started this podcast. I've already broken two, so
This microphone is conspicuously beer bottle shaped.
I think we sound fine. I don't think we need microphone.
my microphone smells like vodka.
And Drew just got a new laptop, so hopefully he won't sound like shit going forward.
Sound like shit. Well, that's how I sound. Microphone isn't going to change.
Yeah,
that.
none of us sound very good live. That's the problem.
And so
Okay.
please give us donations so we can get a voiceover artist for Robert.
I'm not what you'd call a crooner.
We could hire actors to do all of our
I'm
parts.
still waiting
for
on
us.
Vin Diesel to call us back, baby.
Yeah, it's
We'll record our whole podcast and then get actors to recreate the thing. We'll have like Christopher Walken and
oh god.
Nah, you tried to actually hire real voiceover actors. Those guys want a lot of money.
yeah, I'm sure.
Well, that's
We'd
why
have
we're
to
asking
get
for
people
donations.
Yeah,
We'd have
Yeah,
to
that
get
would be a
people
worthwhile
to
donation.
do voiceovers on a pay by royalty share, like our
I've got
ACX books.
I
You guys
got
are gonna
a
have-
fever, and the only prescription
This
more dragons.
This episode of Authors and Dragons voiced over by hobos that we found who were great.
Homeless and dragons.
Authors and hobos. No,
Authors
wait,
and hobos, I like that.
that's redundant.
That's a good extension to that. Say somebody bought the movie rights to Authors and Dragons for some reason. Who would you guys get to play your characters?
Oh Jesus Christ!
fuck our characters who'd play us. 'Cause, John, all the funny fat guys are dead, so I'm screwed. Chris Farley's out. John Goodman got gastric bypass. Even that young fat kid from Superbad got skinny. There are no funny fat guys anymore.
What, Jonah Hill's skinny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's what I
Coward.
said. I mean, he's not like
Anything,
got abs or anything. He's not Brandon Thighmaster, for fuck's sake. But
Yeah. Well, no one is. That's the
Ah,
thing.
well-
I couldn't get an actor to play Brandon Fight. It'd have to be CGI effect.
I don't know, dude. Have you watched American Ninja Warrior?
Oh yeah, that's
So-
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Some of those guys have abs on top of their abs. I have 30 years of beef on top of my abs.
You want to just with that other question you had, Robert?
Oh, all right. I'll just shoot my load.
I was gonna say, I kind of want to hear who everyone thinks their characters would be played by.
I'm still thinking, and this.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was thinking, yeah, I've seen Matt Damon do crazy, so he might be able to do like a Silas.
does oh shit, what's his name? Family Guy.
Seth MacFarlane?
Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah, if he was doing his Stewie voice, that could work well for Klaus.
Oh, God.
Oh god, you've completely rewrote that character in my mind now.
I must find out what's at the bottom of the well. This town is full of secrets.
Man, that's pretty good. That's Joe, right?
Yeah.
Well done.
You do a pretty damn good Stewie.
I used to do voices for
Joe, you should be Klaus.
fun.
Fandango would have to be somebody who could sing. So maybe like, I don't know, Grant Gustin, because he looks like he can't really beat anybody's ass, but he was on Glee, so he could sing. He need long hair.
Oh, God. Okay, so I gotta know who would play Brandon.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of think, because he's a monk, I think he should be Asian. So I think maybe Scarlett Johansson or...
Very nice. Well done.
Slow clap.
That was good.
I thought, when I saw Jason Statham in Spy, I thought that kind of summed up the character. So probably,
Oh yeah, he was good in that.
Way better than I thought it was going to be.
it was, yeah, it's really a really underrated movie, but let's not get sidetracked.
He made the film.
It is. But yeah.
I think Kuthar.
I think maybe somebody like Dave Bautista for Bjorn.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who again?
Dave Bautista, the ex-wrestler who was Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My
Because
he's
Korean
special
mother-in-law. My Korean mother-in-law as the
For
hots
Bjorn?
for Batista.
Oh.
That's all they watch over there is old people singing and professional wrestling. It's bizarre.
That's what I was watching before I got on the call.
Yeah, no, Dave Bautista could work. I think that would probably be better than what was going through my head, which is just find someone huge and, aggressive and Swedish. Because I have a number of Swedish friends, and so when I created the character, I was like, I kind of don't want to go too super offensive with this, but I also sort of spend a certain degree of time every podcast trying not to have your talk like this.
If you want Swedish and ripped, you're talking Alexander Skarsgård.
That could work.
Or who was that guy from the 80s who was like Schwarzenegger's friend? Sven Olsson?
Dolph Lundgren, yeah. Younger Dolph.
Sven.
Sven.
No, I was thinking for Kutharik, Tina from Bob's Burgers.
I haven't seen that, so I don't
Ah.
know.
Is that the one with the hat?
No, that's the middle child.
I've never.
No, wait, she's the oldest, I think. Oh well.
Gone too niche on me, man. You've lost me.
I've never actually seen the show with the sound on. It's just on in the background at the game store.
Ah.
So I know the visuals and I don't understand the show, which I
Yeah,
don't would be
you
helpful
kinda-
I'm hearing show.
You need sound for that one. Yeah.
Klaus always struck me as a Crispin Glover type.
Oh,
Stack.
that's good.
Oh, I got a better one for Silas. The guy who played Wash on Firefly.
Oh God.
Tunic.
Oh God. Have you there's a movie called Death at a Funeral, which it's like a sort of a situation comedy, but Alan Tudyk plays this kind of ordinary guy who accidentally drops acid in the first part of the film and spends the rest of this funeral tripping fucking balls. And
Next funeral I go to, I'm totally doing that.
All right, so we spent a lot of time on that question.
Oh, am I going to shoot my load now?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
John Luther Davis, the artist who drew all of our characters' likenesses. Where can they find that? Is that? Oh, they can find it on the Authors and Dragons tab on the Caverns and Creatures website. Are those pictures anywhere else?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't think...
Well, go to cavernsandcreatures.com and go look at some John Luther Davis action. But he writes, the first interlude was great. Glad it's being done again. Not that I don't want to hear about steaming beaver vampire Klauses, just maybe a break from the insanity is the thing to do. All right, John, that's not a question. I should read these before I ask them. Thanks,
That's a
John.
statement.
All right,
Just raise your voice a little at the end, and it turns into a question.
let's try. Just making a break from the insanity is the thing to do.
No.
See?
You know what? I agree, John. Sometimes that's the thing to do.
Good question.
Thank you. Oh, no, John. All right.
Survey says.
All right. Well, that's mine.
All right. Moving back. This might be more of a question for Drew, but I guess we could kind of answer it. And there's a couple questions here that are for Drew. I'm just going to skip those because they're probably not really going to be answered.
We can have fun with those.
Patrick asks, have you guys considered doing an arena episode where you fight each other in for cash and prizes or bragging rights?
I don't think we need an arena episode. I think eventually we're all going to kill each other.
The arena is inside Silas's mind.
That's the idea. We're all going to get Silas at some point and fight it out.
One way or the other.
Inside. Yeah. Right. I may be actually physically.
With every step, we got to roll 6 will saves.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's how.
Competing will saves
Of whose dick gets ripped off first.
Yeah, we'll all end up as some weird reincarnation Voltron, basically.
Ooh, have you seen the new Voltron cartoon?
Yes.
I haven't seen, not yet. No.
It's on.
Is it good?
It's really good. I've seen the first 3 episodes. I like it a lot.
It seems to have the same animation style as Avatar.
Oh,
Last Airbender.
I haven't seen that, but it's, basic. It feels like all of that style genre of animation.
All that was best in 80s.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. And no, I don't think we've ever thought about fighting each other in an arena because 2 of us would get lost on our way to the arena. 1 of us would dive in a well, and then the rest of us would just sit around getting drunk outside the arena.
I don't know. I think everybody who made it would just look and be like, why don't we kill Silas first?
Oh, John's right. I'm not sure we could even competently kill ourselves.
No.
I think if we tried to, we'd probably end up winning the game or something. So maybe it's something to think about.
All right. Well, John Luther Davis. He did put another question on the Authors and Dragons page.
No, not another question. An actual
I believe
question.
in you.
And he even starts off and says, "Okay, serious question."
Ah, okay.
is so on Adventure Zone, the guys have a kind of audience participation where people can submit magic items, or the DM will name NPCs for Twitter followers, et cetera, et cetera. Is that something Authors and Dragons might do in the future, or would that bog down? Would that bog down our format?
I mean, I don't see why not. We'll certainly do crazier things. I guess if we got cool suggestions and everybody decided it felt like a cool thing to do.
I think that could actually be a pretty cool contest,
Yeah.
You know, once in a while, it's like, hey, get named as an NPC who dies horribly, or become like, R plus, like, 3 sort of like, dick slicing or something.
Yeah.
That's the thing about
Dick slicing ace.
what would probably happen in our game is if we see named after someone that was going to die, that the NPC would end up. Nothing seems to quite work things too. So
Yeah.
That's the thing when they say, would it bog down your format? You're giving us a lot of credit on
It's
that.
like you're talking to 6 players who bog down the format.
our format is the bog. We're just wide.
So many definition of bog, current and historical.
Yeah, I wonder how often like Drew mutes us just to like crumple up whatever he he had planned, throw in the trash angrily. It's like, motherfuckers.
Exactly. He's very smooth, though. I assume that half the time he's just completely, but
I think this.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, this game is like the epitome of daddy drinks because you cry.
I don't know. We're not ruling anything out.
Yeah, it's a great idea, but I think we're kind of we seem to be a lot more off the rails than other podcasts.
And also, I would say, like, if somebody else is doing it, like, we should come up with our own thing,
Right there, rails.
Yeah, there are rails somewhere. Just we've never seen them.
Yeah. Left those in episode 2.
I was actually, because before I listened before I joined this, obviously, I was actually really surprised by how quickly you guys went off the rails. I thought there'd be a lot more kind of hand-holding and maybe establishing things, but no, it's just like, yeah, we're on fire, let's go down a well.
Well, this game was always going to go one of two ways. It was either going to go like uber serious, which probably would have gotten really boring, or if it was just going to be completely anything goes.
Where was the uber serious option?
No. I'm saying
That was never going to happen.
We could have sat down and be like, "Oh, we're fantasy authors. Let's do high fantasy." I know it didn't actually happen, but it could have. Like,
that sounds nothing like the game you pitched to me, Galtieri. When Rick invited me into this mess, he's like, "So it ought to be pretty laid back, and everybody's books are kind of ridiculous, so we ought to have a lot of fun, and I don't think there's going to be any serious role-playing bullshit." And I was like, "Good, because I haven't done this in 20 years, and I was real fucked up the last time."
What was the question again? I spaced on this one.
Oh, the question was just if we would essentially take audience participation and bring it into the game, name either NPCs or
gotcha.
magic items after people.
Or bog down our format, and then we got bogged down in the definition of bogging down our format.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Well, it didn't exactly say naming magic items after people. It said people suggest magic items, and
That's
that could
something
be cool.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do that in the Adventure Zone, but they have a lot more kind of tighter boundaries than we do, in that we don't really have any boundaries. So it'd be a good idea, but it would be good if somebody would offer a magic item, and it'd be a great idea. But we might not find that for years.
Yeah. He'll leave it Drew will leave it in the middle of the street. Basically a sign pointing to it, and somehow we will fuck that up.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be next to the well, and there we go.
It'll be at the bottom of the well where the secrets are.
And Brandon will then spend the next several episodes killing people with the sign that was pointing to it.
Combat sign.
It gives them a +1 over the broom.
The only way is up, really, on the broom.
All right, let's do. Here's a question, and Drew just sent us an IM. So the question is, question for Drew: Are they working from Nick? Are they working on superpowered Superpowers Year 2 yet for audio release? And Drew says, since I won't make it, the answer to the question directed at me is that yes, the other superpowered audiobooks are in production, and for release dates, they can check the events page on my site. And that's all we need to give a shit about that one.
Yeah, I don't think I can elaborate on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could go to the events page and read the shit, but I'm way too lazy for that.
Yeah.
All right. Here's one from my page, which I know this is something we've talked about. Emily writes, author E.M. Kaplan, who's pretty cool on social media, and who's a listener. Would you guys consider doing a short story anthology, or I pretty much of our own stuff, or specifically an Authors and Dragons series of stories?
I'd be really up for doing an Authors and Dragons short story. I think that would be cool.
I did
We
too.
talked about doing
Yeah, we
that.
did talk about that.
Mm.
I don't know. Some people didn't seem to warm to it too much, but I don't know. It depends on how you would do it. I think it'd be cool to do like a novelization of like maybe 10 episodes or something. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
That'd be cool as well, but I thought maybe just like prequels, just individual character adventures.
Yeah.
I thought that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I was going to say, if we were to listen to the episodes, we could probably write a 3,000-page epic just to get the friggin' Caldern.
Yeah. And it would be entertaining. But also, there's the other problem with if we were doing like character stories and stuff, Drew doesn't have a character. That's
Judge Hungry, baby.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
that shit would
Problem
outsell
solved.
any of ours. The Judge Hungry prequel tops the bestseller list. We're all
Judge
languishing down at the bottom, getting pounded in the butt by Judge Hungry.
Judge Hungry begins.
That'd be a hell of a prequel.
I'd read that. Just Judge Hungry, just roaming the countryside, solving problems, Kung Fu style.
Judge Hungry, played by any surviving Carradine.
All right. Well, I guess basically the answer is yeah, we've talked about it. Might happen at some point. I don't think anybody's.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I think there's also copyrights to consider because the game uses the at least Pathfinder, deities and such.
Yeah, I think we could change that.
Yeah,
I think we could screw those guys over.
If I can get away with the shit I do, we could do this.
Yeah.
Praise Poreg.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what came to my mind too. It's like that's the one thing. Maybe that's the test of whether we'd be able to use the number of times that Silas mentions Toreg. That's got to be the most common word name.
Or egg.
Well, yeah, other than the basic.
And for everything else, for like monsters and stuff, you just go to the Pathfinder page, and anything they've changed the name of from D&D, that means it's copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair game. If they've changed the name, we can change the name. Praise Borak.
I like egg.
That's one letter away from the Borak is one letter away from Brack from the old Space Ghost Coast to Coast thing.
Oh, I love Borak. Praise Borak.
I would love it if that was what Torag sounded like. Silas! You did it!
You screwed up with the clouds.
That kind of sounds. That kind of sounds like my fake Silas voice.
There you go. It was meant to be.
All right.
I
Let's
have
see.
to keep muting the microphone because the cat keeps walking back and forth and on the desk in front of the mic.
Is it with cats and laptops? It's like there are enough cats on the internet. Don't need more cats.
If we ever do a live version, we just stick cats in front of the camera playing our characters.
Oh, we get so many more views and downloads.
I know. Suddenly we go from having 1,000 people listen to this to 300,000. It's like, God damn it.
So, yeah, about 200,000 people say, "Oh, I really like the cats. I wish the guys would shut up."
That's it. I'm gonna put a cat on every fucking book I publish now.
And I'm like, what, how would it change for the better if I just changed my author picture with a cat?
Okay, have we got more questions?
Yep. Jake writes, we've heard plenty of stories of tabletop RPG failures. What about your best, most successful ones?
Our best failures.
If I'm reading this right, basically he wants to hear of our greatest successes, which this will be a short one for me.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
My greatest success is still kicking a guy so hard he sees his own asshole before he dies.
I was in a campaign a couple years back where we made it to it was 4th edition D&D, so it was essentially the Pokemon D&D edition, but we made it to top 30th level. My character was a fighter type, so at the end we're essentially fighting this Cthulhu type monster, and this is what pissed me off is that everybody was getting their ass kicked. My guy came in, didn't take any damage. We beat the shit out of this thing. So what does the DM end the thing with? He wrote predestined or determined endings for us, and it basically was like, well, your character dies. He didn't fucking touch me. It's like, well, no, your character just dies. So even when I am a success, I'm a failure.
My greatest success would be if Great Cleave ever worked out properly, but that's never ever happened. Always, I'll cleave one guy, and then I'll roll a 2 on the next attack roll, and, well, that was a wasted feat again. So yeah, Great Cleave, that could be epic if it worked.
What is for the unnerd initiative?
Oh shit!
What
Yeah,
is
sorry.
Great
All right. Well, the normal feat cleave. If you attack somebody and kill them, you get to keep swinging at anybody adjacent to you, and then you get to do that once. But with Great Cleave, you can keep doing that as long as there are people around you. So you could be surrounded by goblins or something, and whirlwind that shit and just slaughter them all. But yeah, it's if you keep hitting. But
That sounds like Bjork's final form. There's something to shoot there. Something to shoot for there.
Did you just drop a Pokemon reference on us?
That wasn't Pokemon. That was Dragon Ball Z. You nerd.
That's not pronounced Dragon Balls.
Pikachu, go Super Saiyan 3.
Oh Lord, that would have been a very different cartoon.
A lot more screaming.
So it's let's see here, our greatest gaming successes.
Yep.
Oh God. What I'm trying to think of whether to approach this from just the humorous shit happening angle or cool shit angle. I don't know. I get the weirdest satisfaction out of odd things that happen at the start of a campaign, making it all the way through to the finish. Like, I was in this game where this one character obsessively carried a bag of noodles around everywhere. And it somehow survived the boss fight at the end. Which is impressive, as that fight included, nuclear fire.
You're setting a low bar for greatness here.
I know. See, I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
like I said,
but the epilogue was them sitting around eating noodles.
the wacky shit. It's the low key shit that stands out to me. Oh God. Fuck. My brain is wrangling in several different directions. Actually, one of the kind of most fun things that's happened to me in a campaign was I had a character who had fuck all ability in grappling. He could not grapple for shit, and this brawl broke out in a library. Coincidentally, this was also the fight where another player learned that shooting out a glitter dust spell in the middle of a enclosed space library is a great way to make us look like a bunch of wrestling drag queens. And
what level is glitter dust?
It's pretty low.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I'm writing that one down.
But anyway, we had this invisible. There was a monk who was attacking the group, and he was trying to escape the group, and he had been made invisible. And as he was in the process of slipping out, because the glitter dust had been dropped, my character was able to spot him and successfully wrestled through like some ridiculously lucky dice rolls. Successfully wrestled this far superior glitter covered grappler to the ground and put him in like a chokehold. So that was very satisfying.
And people started throwing dollar bills at you. And all kinds of disco music.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Sounds like-
there was time proposing.
It sounds like the 70s.
Yes.
We had this game with this recurring bad guy, and it started off where we had traveled through time. We wound up essentially in modern day Mexico. So it was this guy in a sombrero with a shotgun who just beat the shit out of us. He escaped and he wound up coming back over and over and over again. So so finally it was like 19th level, and we finally took this guy down who which essentially turned the entire campaign into Trump's presidential campaign, because hey, we finally got the Mexican.
I've never had a gaming success, so I'm staying.
Fortunately, I have a feeling we're not going to break your streak with this one. I actually, one of my previous characters, much like Kuthar, he always wound up getting swallowed, but he had all these feats that it turned out that when he got swallowed, he started healing and he did more damage from the inside. So it actually wound up being a good thing for him.
There you go. There's hope for Kuthar.
Know your limitations, I
Figure
guess.
out how to make this a positive.
We'll find you +5 laxative armor or something.
I'm going to start wearing a giant hook.
I totally just went on Amazon and changed my picture on my author page to a cat.
Tomorrow we're going to see number one ranked author.
Yeah, it's a cat in a Bojangles chicken box, man. I mean, what could be better?
Popeyes.
Oh, blasphemer!
And this is how the group crumbles.
I'm really hungry now, though.
All right. Christopher asks, would you guys ever consider bringing in more authors to the group? Maybe a female author for some variety. I believe when we were starting off, there was one female author. We did ask, and she was busy. And I think that was actually the problem. I know a lot of female writers in the fantasy space, but they're all kicking ass. So they're going to be way too busy to deal with us losers.
But I have had a couple of female volunteers for our live show at Contraflow. So if we can figure out how to do a live show there, we might have some female guest stars.
Wait, is there
from
talk
among
of
the
a
writer
live show there?
guests. I don't know. We've talked about all kinds of stupid shit.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to Drew's Power Hour. He's hard. He'll be sitting there talking fine. And long since I'm sitting there holding one of the plants in a corner, weeping into it.
That's worth tuning in for.
Yeah, I may have already puked in that plant by that point. What is it, a shot of beer every minute? That sounds like a good way to die.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad to me.
Yeah, I'll be alright.
Of course you will, you're British.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to surrender right off because there's no way.
That's breakfast.
I can't do it. I'm a lightweight.
I'll try for a bit, but I don't see myself lasting too long. That's gonna be more like a power 5 minutes.
I mean, I could make it half an hour at that rate, but we'll see.
A shot of beer. I think I'm doing better than that now.
Right now.
So we got a couple of guys who survived, but following Contraflow, the word goes out. And then Chris's question gets answered. Following Contraflow, the word goes out because we need 3 new authors because someone just didn't make it.
We lost a lot of good men.
Yeah.
Contraflow.
Rick's getting a liver transplant. Harkness is in rehab again.
All right. Well, I think I got one more question.
As I say, I don't think we need an injection of new blood at the moment. I think there's still a lot to be done with these characters.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if I'm thinking if we could ever get like kind of a quote unquote like celebrity author to do like a one shot, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Well, we got Vin Diesel, but he's just in it for the numbers. So
He's very, very quiet.
yeah, no, he's not interested in the whole. He's all about the stats.
He wanted an easier role than Groot.
Yeah, I'm constant. Every time we do a new episode, I think, have we kind of exhausted the possibilities of our ridiculousness? I'm always proved pleasingly wrong.
Yeah, I never would have seen, Kylus coming, or Vampire Beaver Corpse Klaus.
Jesus. That's what I love about doing this, is that no one could have seen that coming. That was a result of, I don't think, because we edit it, it's like, I don't think the listeners appreciate just how much random kind of shit went into that happening. It's like, just a peek behind the curtain for the listeners. But Rick didn't. Rick, you actually took a 5-minute break. While,
I went downstairs to put my kids to bed. When I came up, I'll be perfectly honest, I wasn't really paying attention. And I just hear this thing of like, oh, Klaus got to swallow something, and okay, he's fine and stuff. Drew apparently did explain it, but I still wasn't listening. And he's like, oh, it's your turn. What do you do? Oh, I shoot these things that are attacking Kuthark. And everybody's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
Listening back to it, you can just hear the shock in everyone's voice. You just gotta let him die.
I was kind of disappointed that they cut the bit where he said, I was putting my kids to bed. Because I thought that was so funny.
But there's so many other random factors, like none of us remembered to heal. We'd all forgotten we'd taken damage.
Well, I liked the randomness that Drew was just gonna put Klaus in a squirrel or something, and just because Robert spoke up, it's like, fine, that's it. You're fucking possessing Silas.
Yeah, again, you had to roll a natural 1 and get struck by lightning. What the chances of anyone being as ridiculous, failing as hard as that, are just so slim.
I honestly thought that's where he was going with it, because I remember Klaus's body went up and was blocked by gray clouds or something. And then Silas gets shot with a gray bolt of lightning or something. I thought, oh my God, that's Klaus's spirit, isn't it? And then, I was wrong, but then I was right.
That hadn't occurred to anyone else but you.
That was bold.
I think my favorite on a re-listen to that episode, my favorite line is still where Brandon says, obviously he's been reincarnated as Silas, and then Rick just goes, but I'm still here. And you're like, yeah, I don't know what your problem is. That's probably one of the best lines in the episode.
Probably one of the best lines in the history of the podcast.
It's great.
It sums up the party's relationship with Silas. Yeah, I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah, but that just tells you how ridiculous the thing is. It's like, we played the game, we heard it firsthand, and and listening back to it, it's still fucking hilarious.
That's it gets me every time, because I've got no experience in anything like improv or even gaming, so every episode to me is a new adventure in ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Well, if this is your first thing with improv, you kick ass, Steve. You tend to have the best lines every week.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, no, you freaking rule.
Oh.
I sometimes find myself going how do I keep pace with that?
It's easy because all I'm doing is reacting to you guys. So.
But you react in such a kind of a delightfully kind of matter-of-fact way and confident kind of way, like, the reaction to that. And we're all kind of like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. It's very hypnotic to listen.
Yeah, and it flows really naturally.
Yeah,
it's almost like well, this is the obvious thing he would do.
That is the advantage of picking such a rock stupid character. It's just very, very easy to understand.
Yes, it seems like he always knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, he doesn't necessarily know what he's doing, but he's 1,000% committed to it.
There's one question. Have I punched this yet?
Yeah.
I don't know if you made that up on the spot or came up with it ahead of time, but that whole thing when you first introduced, like, your whole methodology of, like, enlightenment comes from, like, from meeting every one of, like, God's animals and punching it in the face.
The Notebook is my favorite bit. Checks his notebook.
Then Kufarik's notebook after. It is cool. Yeah, that's like...
He's got a notebook of every creature that he's been inside. It's kind of a sloppy, slimy notebook at this point.
I do. I have a lot of fun doing it. It's a very cool experience.
Well, the cool thing is every character has their interesting quirks. So, like, on any given week, if, like, one of us can't make it or so, it's not like the superstar is gone because everybody else can get up to, like, their own shit.
Yeah, everybody really come into their own, like, pretty quickly as well, established what their character was about. When I was listening to it, it was such a unique blend of personalities, and just, like, not a helpful blend of personalities, which just everybody had their own, this is what my character does, and I'm not shifting on it. Fuck your plot.
Hey, GM, really thought you had plans?
So,
I'm thinking every week Drew just shows up with that D100 random thing, and that just, like,
That did remind me of a campaign I was in once where I came up with we came up with a 20 possible outcomes for smoking this random weed concoction that an NPC had. Because he was smoking it all the time. He was some kind of, like, prophet seer type guy, and the players got really, really curious about what was in what he smoked. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to tell them, but I know one of them's going to steal it at some point. So let me cook up this list to see what they see.
So
I seem to recall one of the hallucinations involved a tentacle exploding out of the ground with Frank Sinatra's head on it.
Nice.
that's good.
I hope when it bursts from the ground, it starts singing like "Strangers in the Night" or something.
Yeah, I don't remember what the song was. I think it might have been "Come Fly With Me."
Yeah, I don't think it matters what the song was. I think any song it's going to be sufficiently disturbing. I like that.
I really want. Did Drew link the? He did link the table, didn't he? At some point, somewhere.
I think on his site he did.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to look at that.
Oh, and again, speaking of random encounters, another thing listeners wouldn't know is after we finished the tentacles, he said, "Oh, you guys are lucky because one of these things would have teleported you 80 miles away." And then what happens to it the next time round? Jesus.
We dangle the corpse in front of the tentacles, and oh look,
what a surprise!
I want to know what's going to happen to the ship now.
Oh, they'll be fine, I'm sure.
They saw the log crash down to the beach, and they're like,
I'm telling you,
right.
The captor and just see that giant mountain thing having just, like, as it's just finishing, completely destroying the place. Like, And Judge Hungry is just waiting on the shore for us. It's like, you.
I think it would be awesome if I think it would have been, kind of awesome, but not if. And this is just, me pining for more Judge Hungry. If the teleportation effect of that Klaus had teleported us back to the courtroom. Would have been beautiful.
Oh, well, now Drew's going to listen to the interlude before he puts it live.
Well, we've still got no idea where we are. Drew's got no idea where we are.
It's Chuck Hungry's name. Chuck's thirsty.
I would hope his last name would be Hippo.
Middle name, Hungry.
Judge Hungry Hippo.
Yeah, one more question here. Patrick asks, what is your favorite shitty movie?
Oh, that's a kind of a question.
I'm a big fan of the particularly Hard to Kill. That's a fan. It's just so ridiculous and awesome, and just such a pure '80s movie with the big hair and the music and the Steven Seagal and there's a training the recovery training montage and stuff. It's got everything in it. Hard to Kill. It's fantastic.
I think it depends what you mean by shitty movie, because some people think you get a shitty movie like Evil Dead 2, which is also a cult classic, or Flash Gordon, which is also a cult classic. Then you get but then you get something like Hawk the Slayer, which I can't even defend it, but I'm still going to watch it.
Oh man, I was gonna say Hawk the Slayer too.
Hawk the Slayer is good. I still have You're the Hunter from the Future as my ringtone.
Mine's The Replacements, that really bad Keanu Reeves football movie.
Oh, that's pretty good though. I mean, it's a kind of a. I'm a little embarrassed of saying that.
Yeah.
In terms of,
I mean,
it's funny.
It's schmaltzy and stuff, but it's well constructed and
yeah.
stuff.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna cheat and go with the Mystery Science Theater episode of Mitchell.
Mitchell. Mitchell. I love Mitchell.
I have to admit, I have seen Congo more times than any sane person should. Or any insane person should.
Everything with Tim Curry in it.
I have to watch it.
In my case, I gotta say, like, in terms of just kind of fun, campy, stupid, I'm a big fan of the Schwarzenegger Schwarzenegger movie True Lies.
That is
that was not terrible.
No, it's not terrible, but it's
that's a deliberately campy.
Kind of clever, over the top.
Yeah, it did what it was aiming to do.
Yeah.
Let's see but for a more, I'm trying to think of a more straightforwardly crappy movie. I mean, there's always the art. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some of the so I got to say, in terms of things that I've watched over and over again. Going with Bevan's I think assertion of the MST3K thing. I love I could rewatch the Space Mutiny episode over and over and over again.
Yes, that's the one with all where the guy, they come up with all the names.
Slab
for the guy.
Fridge cheese. Last hard cheese.
They do this throughout the whole movie. Like every time the guy's running or whatever, he comes up and then they come up with a new nickname for him. They must come up with like 200 names for him throughout the show, and they're all hilarious. Really funny. That's one of the best ones.
This is a shitty movie they did. I think it was called Forbidden City or something. But like the main character's name is like Rousdower, and they just spend most of the movie just mocking that.
In several places. After I saw that thing, I have an MP3 on my computer that I sometimes just pull up for the fun of it. It's just the compilation of the names, being listed one after the other. And for a while, I was going. I used two of those names as online handles for a while. One was Gristle McThornbody, and the other one was Slam Squat Thrust.
This is not a far cry from Brandon Five.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think the best movie name of all wasn't even one they came up with. Was a Gamera versus Giron. It was like, hey, corn job.
Oh no, wait. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat here and go back one question. I remembered probably one of my favorite bad movies. It is the 80s Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella Masters of the Universe.
Ah, yeah.
That counts.
Terrible.
That counts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
How can you fuck up He-Man so badly? It's
Well,
like
it's like that
never
second
even seen a
Punisher movie. How do you
He-Man.
fuck up Punisher that bad?
It's just, yeah, it's kind of like, well, He-Man's a big blonde guy. All right, we'll get that, and then fuck everything else.
Actually, I kind of like Frank Langella's Skeletor
Oh
because
God,
Actually, no, he was good. Yeah,
he just overacts the entire thing, and you can tell he's almost kind of like, fuck all, I'm getting paid, I'm gonna have fun.
He actually said in an interview later that it's his favorite role he's ever done.
he did.
Because
Seems to be having a good time.
he got to be completely ridiculous and over the top. It's kind of like Alan Rickman in the Kevin Costner Robin Hood, where like in his contract for that movie it said, you know, he would only do the role if he could be as absolutely hammy as he wanted to.
It just basically, as a kid watching that movie, expecting a He-Man movie, there were so many missteps. It's like Eternia, Fantasy Kingdom. No, it's just post-apocalyptic Blade Runner landscape, the desert, and it's like, oh, and his magical sidekick Orko. No, he's just a grizzled old troll now.
Yeah,
for no reason.
You get this little guy with this like thing, and I was doing the same thing watching that, going, is this supposed to be Orko? Doesn't look like it.
Where the hell is Prince Adam with his pink vest?
Yeah. It's like, oh, and here's Courtney Cox and some keyboards. No. I don't wait for that.
Yeah. I was trying to remember if Courtney Cox was in that.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for dragging that back up. That's a bitter disappointment.
Well, bit of trivia on that. The Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Cyborg actually started life as the sequel to Masters of the Universe.
What? How can we get as far away from He-Man as possible?
Yeah, they actually started writing it, and then apparently Mattel wised up, and they're like, no, you don't get the rights to this. So they just took what they had and they just like reworked it a little bit.
That's astonishing.
Wow, I can't even imagine how that would have made any sense.
I will say that movie probably has my favorite introductory speech of all. Where it's like this guy who's like, yeah, talking about the plague and stuff, and then it's like, I like the death, I like the misery, I like this world.
You don't really get that kind of post-apocalyptic vibe you used to get in the 80s. Everyone was coked up and pessimistic as fuck, thinking they're going to be nuked by Russians. We got a lot of good movies out of that.
Everything now is like hopeful and shit. It's like,
We got President Trump coming. We had a wealth of material about to happen.
Yeah,
we're going to live through it. This is what we've been training for, guys. This is the real thing.
I have mused occasionally. I'm just kind of like, on the one hand, this election cycle in the U.S. is really depressing, but on the other hand, it offers something that is so rare in this modern age, and that's comedy for everyone.
Another cinematic golden age. Bring out Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme again.
Yeah, maybe in 6 months we'll change the name of this podcast to the Wolverines.
Nice.
There's a character-specific question I want to answer. If Brandon had a movie montage of all the crazy shit he did to get so buff, what song would play? And I've been thinking about it. And he wouldn't have a movie montage. He would just have a montage. It'd just be a 3-hour montage. That'd be the entire movie. And it would probably be Working for the Weekend by Loverboy, just on repeat. And that question was from Legion Henderson. And the other question we have, something we can all warm to, is from Patrick. He says, let's say you guys are going to be celebrating in epic fashion for whatever reason. What is your favorite alcoholic poison of choice to get sloshed with?
Ciroc and cranberry.
Oh, that sounds complicated.
Not really. You get a bottle of cranberry juice, you wave it in front of a vodka bottle, and then you throw it over your shoulder and drink the fucking vodka.
I can tell you my least favorite, which is they have this stuff in called guaro, which is sugarcane liquor, and it's like the cheapest liquor you can buy in Costa Rica and probably anywhere. And it's not terrible if you mix it with like fruit juice or something like that, but that's basically the last time I had that is the last time I had anything hard to drink, because it was it. I was out for about a day with like a horse. So I just said no. I think I'm good.
I like drink. I remember I got shamed one time. I went on this date once because we went to a steakhouse. I'm looking at at the table next over to us, and they ordered this this essentially this giant like frozen daiquiri, and I'm like, I'm gonna get myself one of them. The waitress comes over and like my date's like, yeah, we'll take a picture of Bass, and I'm like, yeah, we'll take a picture of Bass. I was like, there's no way I'm recovering from this date if she orders that, and suddenly I'm like, no, can I have something umbrella in it?
No, I'll have the appletini.
Yeah, frozen margaritas and daiquiris. I love those.
I normally drink beer, but if I'm absolutely looking to get sloshed, I like buttery nipples. They're like
So do I.
They're like Werther's Originals that get you fucked up.
Just
Oh,
like to
that's a
leave.
drink.
I'd just like to leave an edit for Drew there. If you could just cut out Robert saying I like buttery nipples and just give that to me for my ringtone, that would be great.
Well, if you're editing that, Drew, give me. I don't know what your problem is. I want that for my ringtone. I did have this drink many moons ago. I went on a trip to Sicily, and there's this drink that tastes kind of like jet fuel mixed with red Kool-Aid called Fuoco del Etna. And it's made from something that grows on the sides of Mount Etna and only grows there, thank God. Because otherwise you could get this alcohol other places.
I went to a party once and I tried Screaming Nazis, which is mixing Rumpelmitz with Jägermeister, and
We told you to stay away from the Trump rallies, fucker.
yeah, let me tell you, that's a harsh drink right there.
I pretty much
that's
gave,
like a punch in the face in a bottle.
It sounds like it. Screaming Nazi. That doesn't sound friendly at all. Yeah, I don't really do the hard stuff anymore. I didn't, because basically I subsisted on basically cheap lager, cheap spirits for so long. It got to the stage where I was waking up not just with a hangover, but feeling like I was dissolving from the inside out. So I got onto ale, and I pretty much only drink ale now, and I have a good time on ale. But I'm starting to learn that if you actually get good hard spirits, like the Polish came over to this country, we had a big influx of Polish, and they sort of introduced us all to wheatgrass vodka. Not only is it really nice, but you can get messed up on it, and you don't feel that terrible the next day. So you don't write off your entire day looking at the toilet. Which is, yeah, that's pretty much, if it tastes good and I don't have to spend the entire next day looking at the toilet, that's
That's a big plus.
Yeah.
Although if you wake up in a field somewhere, you're really not staring at the toilet.
Yeah. That's not well. Yeah. I woke up on a roof once, on a hotel roof, after some bad tequila. That was,
I think they made a movie about that. They called it The Hangover.
Yeah.
There was a rum I used to drink in Korea. It was called Captain Q. And you get a big bottle of it for like $5.
Did it say on it compare to Captain Morgan or something?
No. But
It said don't compare.
that
Please don't compare to Captain Morgan.
got the job done.
got the job done. Is that written on the bottle? Gets the job done, Captain Q.
You know, I all throughout college, I worked at a liquor store. That sounds like something like some of our customers would say. It's like I got $3, just give me something that'll get the job done.
There was a good Mitchell and Webb sketch about that. It was
Is that the one where they're walking into the pubs?
No, the one in the convenience store where the guy's an alcoholic and he goes to buy a newspaper and Apple and over the course of the sketch you get the impression that this happens every day where, oh well, I can't afford the newspaper or the Apple, and I just instead I'll buy this beverage or whatever. Anyway, it's a good sketch.
I'm pretty sure I, over the course of like I said, the couple of years I worked at this place, I'm pretty sure I saw that sketch play out more than once in real life.
So for booze,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of this German liquor called Barenjäger. It's
Dude, I will just say it's funny you said that because the very last in-person D&D game I had, which was like a couple of weeks back, the DM brought that.
It's astonishing. Like, it tastes basically like highly alcoholic honey. It's basically, as I've heard it, the best way I've heard it described is, it's mead for it's mead for people who like hard liquor. And it goes straight to my brain, and I fall down on the couch.
Mead for the need.
What I was thinking about doing is I took a shot of that and it was pretty good, but I was like, something like a cup of hot tea with like a shot or two of this and that would go down pretty nice.
Yeah. I thought sometimes it would probably make a pretty good hot toddy.
Oh, hey, if you do a Google image search of Captain Q, the second image pretty much says it all.
I've got to see this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you gotta do that.
Is it just a letter Q?
No.
That can be. Is it that fun? I'm thinking
I'd say that says it all.
Gonna put that on the website. I think people need to see that.
Yeah, that's the last thing you see before your skull gets caved in. Like, you don't have to do it, man. Yeah, the captain tells me I do.
See, there's a good NPC.
Yeah. This isn't Corporal Q, man. This is Captain Q. Do as he says.
That should have been the captain of the ship.
It may very well be. We only know him as captain at the moment.
I hope it's that guy.
Oh, that's a great thing. You know, if I were the brewer of that brand, I'm not sure if I'd be horrified or if I would just love the fact that that's one of the first things that comes up.
Yeah. That's a whole lot better than just the first image, just the picture of the bottle. And this has got the picture of the bottle and the rest of it.
Yeah, because that guy looks like, he has that look that says, I will sell my wife and kids, before I give up this bottle.
Yeah. For $5.
Okay, I've got one last question on my
good.
feed. It's I swear I didn't make this up. It's from Michael. It says, I'm working my way through all the author's books. I've loved almost all of them and want more. Which format gives you guys more money? Audio, ebook, or physical book? So I can contribute as much as possible. I'd just like to say to all our listeners that everyone should be like Michael.
Although the obvious answer is, why not buy all three?
And
Cheapskate.
before you do so,
Buying one format of a book.
Before you do so, read it on Kindle Unlimited if that's an option. Then buy it.
Yeah.
Then buy the audio. Then buy the paperback. Then buy the T-shirt.
Yeah.
I gotta say, audio has been a super format for me lately.
Me too.
Audio has been fantastic this summer. The most profitable for me personally is buying them in person at a convention. But if you can't be anywhere that we're going to be, like Drew's at Comic Palooza this weekend, I'm at Heroes Con in Charlotte this weekend. I'll be at Liberty Con in Chattanooga and congregate in High Point, North Carolina in July. So if you can't see me there and buy my shit in person, I guess audiobook followed by Amazon ebook.
I usually just tell people, it's like, buy what you want. I'm like, nobody's putting a gun to my head for any of these things. So
yeah.
Well, That's
It's
what I
all
always
good,
tell
yeah. It
people.
doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's pretty close for at least on mine. I know like paperback and Kindle, it's about the same that I would make on it. I mean, sometimes I put the books on sale, and then I make almost nothing, just as a promotional thing. But regular sale price, regular retail price, a lot of difference. Just buy what format you like and get maximum enjoyment out of it, and then buy more.
But even then, when you put the books on sale and people buy the exposure you get could be worth more than the.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no. I mean, it's all good for us on our end. Anytime you buy it, no matter what. I mean, like if we put a book on sale, definitely people shouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm gonna wait until. I mean, I don't know who's gonna think this. Maybe this one guy, who wrote in, they're gonna. I'm gonna wait until it's full price and buy it. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's good. If you buy the book, we're happy.
I actually got a lot of that. When I launched my last one, I was like, oh, it's going to be 99 cents for a week. And I had actually a lot of people saying, no, I'm going to wait for a week. And I'm like, guys, I really appreciate that. And that was really awesome to say. But I'm putting this on sale. So for you guys,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Some people do. It seems like they kind of feel bad about it sometimes. And it's like, no, just buy it because it helps us, boost in the rankings too. Right. The more people buy it, if you get a bunch of people to buy it at 99 cents, we get more exposure from that, so it works out better for us anyway.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of Rick. I'm not doing it for you people. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it so I can have a broader exposure, and you can help me with that.
Yeah, that's exactly
that.
Like
Bevan is by far the most honest of our group.
I would say buy it in any format you like, but if you want to leave a tip, leave a review, like and share, tell your friends.
Yes. Actually, yes, that's a good point. Reviews would be, if you buy the book especially if you like it.
Actually, I like that. I like
reviews are worth a lot.
I like the tell a friend thing. I mean, this is why I don't worry much about, like some people, like, I've had a few people like approach me and they're like, well, you're probably gonna be mad if I found your book on BitTorrent or so, and I really liked it. I told a couple friends. I was like, you told a couple friends, you marketed for me, so I'm like, we're cool.
Yeah. Am I the only one on the cast that does Patreon?
I think so. Does Drew do Patreon? I think Drew does.
I was thinking Drew did. Yeah.
I think Drew might. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's another way that you can support those of us who do it directly is through a Patreon, and then you get, like with me, you get free ebooks every month or every couple of months.
I do Kickstarters once in a while, but it's nothing regular. But Kickstarters are great, and there's really no middleman. So all the money goes to me. And I just, for paying, I have to pay for cover design and stuff, but then I do really well on Kickstarters, unless I do the cover design myself, but or whoever.
Yeah.
So be sure to support those Kickstarters because we need to send Rob Croce back to Lake Costa Rica because those howler monkeys are waiting for him.
Oh, I'm definitely going back. I'm going back next year for sure. So hopefully their Wi-Fi will be a little better because
somebody's typing like a motherfucker.
Not it. I've never typed that fast in my life.
Sorry, it's me.
All right. So we have anything else, or shall we wrap it up?
I think we're good.
That's it from me.
All right. So I guess tune in 2 weeks, and we'll see where the fuck we wound up.
I have to listen to the last episode so I know what the hell's going on. I missed it.
Yeah. You're gonna come back next week's game and be like, yeah, I listened to it and I still got no fucking idea.
Yeah.
And we'll all be.
That's usually what happens. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference to have us, crazy. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll all be sitting there with you, like, hey, we don't know what the fuck's going on either, bro.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And all right, where do we find our skill button again?
How do I make my guy move?
Have we actually officially ended? I'm not.
Oh no, that's what we're doing now.
Okay.
This is our walk-off music.
Walk off. Okay, cool. Take care, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Right. Peace out.
Okay.
Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to the original creators, which is us, the people who are playing it. The opening music, Take a Chance, and closing theme, Master of the Feast, are both credited to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com and also used under a Creative Commons license.